I'm Paul Johnson and you're watching Mining Maven TV. Today we have a gold-focused special and we're delighted to be joined by Andrew Bell, Chairman of Red Rock Resources. Red Rock is listed on the alternative investment market under the code RRR. Since listing in 2005, Red Rock Resources has built a diverse portfolio of exploration assets. The company has interests in manganese, iron ore, uranium and more recently in the development and exploration of gold prospects. Andrew, thanks for joining us today. Before we talk about gold exploration, could you tell us a little bit about Red Rock Resources and its portfolio in general?
Yes, and that contains a little bit of the history of Red Rock because we listed in 2005, so it's actually quite a new company, and what we listed with was a portfolio of iron and manganese projects in Western Australia. So that iron ore and manganese, those are big markets. Iron ore in particular is the largest traded market of any metal, and it's a big boys game because you need so much infrastructure. So we knew that we were going to have to bring in partners at some stage. What happened is we developed those to a certain extent as operator, and then we found a partner, which was Pallinghurst, and of course that's the best partner you could have because it represents the former chief executive of BHP Billiton who merged the two companies, and his team who he's worked with since on other large projects, and he's a good corporate deal maker, and with him we have a stake now therefore in Jupiter. So the iron ore manganese came in like this and was our main holding, and it's now dropped down from operations to investment, and so it's now represented by a 25% stake in Jupiter, and Pallinghurst in their turn also have a 25%. Jupiter's already an $80 million company, so we built it up, but we've now got Gina Reinhardt in as a shareholder, and POSCO have come in as a 10% shareholder. That's the third or fourth biggest steel company, according to which calculation you use. And so it's all limbering up for some very big deals because you have 3 or 4 key large players there, and a lot of things are under negotiation. So we expect our partnership there to result in a very large company developing. And you know, if you'd said to us a few years ago, if I'd said to you, we are going to develop our iron ore and manganese, and we're going to hire the chief executive, former chief executive BHP to run it, and his company will have a stake equal to ours, you'd have said, don't be ridiculous. And even though we haven't quite got that situation, we're effectively in the same position. We have a management that's come in while we retain a very substantial shareholding. The assets being explored are our old assets, and we're going to do some big deals, and we have terrific fundraising capacity there now. So before that happened, out of the iron ore and manganese, we spawned off sort of sideways an involvement in uranium, partly because the uranium and the iron ore in the Northern Territory were mixed with each other, and also one of the properties in Western Australia. So then we bulked up that uranium by getting some Malawi African assets, principally on the view that if we found uranium in Africa, it would be a shorter route to production than it would be in Australia. And Malawi was particularly attractive because Kayelekera was already being developed by Paladin there, and so we knew that the government would fast-track things and be very helpful. And those uranium assets in their turn, we have found a vehicle for realizing some of the value there. And this month, the beginning of next month, actually beginning of February, that company, Resource Star, is being relisted on the Australian Stock Exchange. I am the chairman of that as well, and we have representation on the board and of the main shareholder, and have recruited the management. The management are ex-Western Mining people who have experience with the largest uranium producer, Olympic Dam, and very disciplined, methodical, good people. And so that will be listed in mid-February. And so then our uranium, so from the iron ore here, the iron ore spawns off the uranium, the iron ore then becomes an investment, sinks down there, and that's a form of realization for us, just as if we'd sold the project, is that we do it in stages and we maximize our sale value. The uranium now, the same thing's happening, it's come down here, a cycle finishes here, a cycle finishes here, and a new subsidiary cycle of maximizing the value of the investment begins with each. And before that happened to the uranium, from the uranium and the involvement in Africa, came the gold, and we invested in gold projects in Kenya which were very unrecognized and prospective, because we felt confident by that stage both in our abilities to develop projects operationally in Africa and to handle the process a little bit further along from exploration towards production, because we built up a team and we built up some expertise. And that gold project is now held and operated by us, so that's now our principal operating involvement, but we also have an indirect stake through an investment vehicle, Kansai. So we have an effective economic interest in that gold project of, say, 45%. And so actually people think we're a complicated company, but we're actually extremely simple. We've each time done one thing at a time and had a realization model, because everything you do in mining is about acquiring and then disposing. But our disposal model was one that involved bringing in good management, bringing in good partners, and disposing not by fire sale or quick sale, but in such a way that you keep on squeezing new value out, not just now, but also in future.
It seems you do have a diverse range of assets within the portfolio, Andrew. How much is your portfolio of listed investments worth at the moment?
Well, the Jupiter shares, 93 million shares, 25% of Jupiter, that is worth about £11 million. Resource Star on relisting at 20 cents, assuming no increase in value, but we expect to see one, worth about £1.4 million. So the Jupiter alone is worth 2p a share. Resource Star is worth about about 14–15% of the amount of the Jupiter at the moment, but we expect that to increase. In Kansai, we have another about £230,000, and that holds a little bit of our gold investment, but we also hold most of it directly. And Q Resources, which is a Paraguayan uranium investment, where we thought that there might be some synergy looking forward with Resource Star. We seized the opportunity to take a placement they were doing. We have about £600,000 in that. We also think it's a first-rate investment, because we screened about 200 companies worldwide on uranium, and this was one of our two cheapest picks. So you put those together, 600, 200, 800,000, 2.2 million, 11 million, 14 million pounds or so.